Hello and welcome back to the PMP Videocast. As always, I'm your host Brian, and today I'd like to look at something I'm pretty into, collecting. Over the next month or so, we're going to be putting out a bunch of videos outlining or unpacking the themes of my book, Nostophobia Volume 1, The Nostalgia Economy. The book will formally be launching on our Patreon in the next few weeks. $5 gets you access to a digital ebook and an audiobook. Also dozens of exclusive videos, so if you're into collecting and like what you hear, or just like what we do, please consider supporting us. Patreon.com/picsandportraits. Now, I am someone who has been collecting their entire life. I doubt I'm alone in that. I feel like a lot of that comes through in what I've done here, and especially on our other channel. People collect for a lot of reasons, but nostalgia is a big one. People associate positive or happy memories with items, and these items come to represent those times. They are the physical embodiment of memories. Personally, I don't think nostalgia necessarily feels good. I know I'm in the minority there, but the idea that nostalgia is a negative feeling is responsible for so much of what I've done, including the book. Nostophobia is the phobia or the fear of returning to the place where you live, your literal home. I've used it figuratively, the fear of remembering your past, confronting memories, where you've come from, who you used to be. This first part introduces us to the nostalgia economy, specifically the retro collectible market. It follows a community of retro video game collectors, their pasts, their histories, as well as the pasts of different places in their lives, cities, towns, businesses. I chose retro gaming because it's something that I've always had an interest in. I grew up gaming when what is now considered retro was new. I sold some of my collection years ago. Very happy I held on to some of it, and that I bought back a lot of what I wanted because during the pandemic, interest exploded in the hobby. People were stuck at home, they were anxious, they had free time, and so they returned to something that once gave them comfort. They went back to their childhood and bought the games they remembered. And the market blew up. This has happened with a lot of retro collectible hobbies recently. Game value shot through the roof, the value of existing collections skyrocketed, which is great if you were already in the hobby, but if you weren't and you don't have a lot of disposable income, you might be priced out. Times are tough for a lot of us. The happy memories and the items that represent them are a hot commodity. These things people love and miss are worth a lot of money, and that's a very lucrative combo. People collect items and memories and experiences because of their connection with them, but people also collect explicitly for monetary value or to sell for a profit. Reselling is a very popular side hustle. This platform, YouTube, is full of people doing it, as are most thrift stores. People who basically got into the hobby to buy something cheap and then flip it for some kind of a profit. Interest in collecting, thrifting on a larger scale really gained steam during the late 2000s, early 2010s on cable TV, Pawn Stars, American Pickers, Storage Wars. The same thing happened with housing back in the 2000s. People saw they could make money, easy money, and a hobby that was relatively niche blew up. These kind of shows have since migrated online. Granted, a lot of this is entertainment and staged to some degree, but it has had an effect. Again, the market has exploded, and that also means thrift stores, especially corporate ones, are now charging market value. I'm sure they noticed a lot of people coming in and fighting over or asking about certain items, and they've been wised up. They know what they have, which is a very popular meme in collecting communities, but they do. I have seen pictures of places like Savers or Value Village selling games they got for free for nearly $1,000. Same with the charities, your Goodwills and your Salvation Armies. Values are known and deals are scarce. I'm going to have a whole video on how the thrifts have basically become the grifts, but right now I'd like to look at the different ways people collect and how they've changed over the past little while, now that values have skyrocketed. There was a time where you could get a lot of really great and valuable things very cheaply, but really, that is no longer the case. Again, values are known or artificially inflated by things like speculation or hype. There are news reports about games selling for $1 million, money laundering. There are only so many made, and there are only so many left in the world. Supply and demand. Scarcity is also manufactured with newer items. Things get a limited release and then are bought up and sold on the secondary market for much more than was originally asked. Like nostalgia, money is a huge motivating factor in collecting. Some people get interested in things if they think they can make money, and then they chase it. It's a hustle, but going to every thrift store or yard sale hoping to score is a very difficult way to make easy money. Collectors sell things too. They buy cheap or bought years ago, lost interest or have bills to pay, and sell high. But resellers have a pretty negative reputation within collecting communities, not so much for selling the items and making money, but for only selling the items to make money. Gaming, as an example, is a hobby people love. People are passionate about it. These are games they've been playing for years. They've made so many great memories with them, and they want to own that. They want to own a piece of their history, and now it's much more expensive, prohibitively so in some cases. Blame gets put onto the resellers for the increase in prices, somewhat, rightfully so, but people are also buying at these insane prices. Monetizing nostalgia, putting monetary values on memories. If you put memories or feelings into an item, how much are you willing to pay for that item? How much are you willing to sell it for, should you have to? What is it worth to you? These are all questions collectors have to ask themselves. Also, what does it look like? What will you be satisfied with? When collecting anything, what is the condition of the item? Does it matter that it's missing parts or pieces? It certainly affects the monetary value, but if you just want to own it, does it really matter? To some people, yes. They won't buy something if it doesn't have all the original components. In comics and now video games, some people choose to spend a lot of money to get them graded. Whole organizations exist just to grade items, increasing their value to certain collectors, though you can no longer enjoy it. It's a shelf piece, which is fine if that's what you're collecting for. There are also people who want specific or all variants of something. Was there a printing error, a color defect? That makes it more rare and thus worth more money. Sometimes what you collect is not just this conceptual item, an item, but a specific copy of that item, your item, the one you've kept since childhood and made all your memories with. This can be priceless to you, even if it is something monetarily worth nothing, it is irreplaceable. To others, the item alone is enough to represent those feelings. When having to part with something, does it feel different to sell something personal like that versus something you bought later that also has meaning? Like I said, I've collected my whole life from when I was younger, and I still have made new memories collecting, even recent or new things, but to some people, it is that item. It's those childhood memories they may have made with their siblings or because their parents gave it to them. We live in a time where most of the things people want to own are available digitally, but people want the real thing, especially if they grew up with it. Of course, you didn't have to. Retro is extremely popular, and people who weren't even born when some things came out have gotten into retro hobbies. And good on them, the kids are all right. But with everything we've looked at, why collect? It's expensive, it takes up space. In terms of media, things are easily available elsewhere. Well, there's the desire to recapture your youth or childhood, the drive to make money, a genuine interest, and the dopamine hit when you find something rare or a good deal. It's the best, or when you spend hundreds or thousands of dollars to have something you really wanted, you've wanted it for years, and now you finally have it, and it's amazing, it's everything you thought it was going to be and more. Or you get it, or get it back, you spent the money, and you feel nothing, because it's never enough. Any momentary elation gives way to agitation, because there is always something else that is needed. Even if your collection is whole, you have to start a new one. Some people go into large amounts of debt attempting to get back their past. Whether that or what's being charged is right is irrelevant because they just have to have it. It doesn't matter, they'll pay. It's an obsession. And it's definitely one of the more negative aspects of collecting that is explored in the book, which we will talk about more in the coming weeks. For now, let me know what you think. What do you collect? What are some of your grails? Like this video, that helps out a lot. Share, subscribe. Again, if you had the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We will be launching the book soon, but we did a soft launch, spelling and grammatical errors included, if you wanted to check it out now. The first episode of Immoral Media is out now as well, a media mix looking at moral panics. $5 gets you all that and helps keep all of this going. Patreon.com/picsandportraits. As always, thank you so much for your interest in this channel, and thanks for watching. See you in the future.